Hi, it's Kayla. I want to talk about premeditated, targeted harassment that's happened to me as of recently. So before, I was at this Discord server, JSTLK, and I had bet at one point. There's like this quick vote ban. It was probably for like a half hour or so. And I got banned, and it was like, I had a lot of servers I'm in, and that one was definitely not my favorite. But at times it could be enjoyable, so that made me a little sad, especially because Kelly Jean's server is basically a nicer version of JSTLK server, except there's not as much action in VC, so especially when there's action in the VC, it's useful. Or sometimes I guess during streams, but that's kind of irrelevant now, but that's part of why it started. So this moderator, ZZ, for a while had been sweeping for my longtime harasser, Neorak or Neo. So Neo has been obsessed with me for a long time. It seems like it started because he was offended by certain jokes I would make to other people about levels. They liked it. They didn't get offended by it generally. He got offended on the fact that I was making them. I also used bubble emotes as a very neutral thing. And he thought that was some type of negative messaging. He just made it up in his head pretty much. And he held a grudge against me for a very long time. And then I went after him, and then when he did, he started to play victim because he'd been going after me for months on end, basically. And I had blocked him for a while until someone suggested I not, and then I realized that he had been trying to talk to me that whole time and talking about me. So basically then they told us to stop. I thought it was like a friendly suggestion. And then I still wanted to be able to comment on him when he was unhinged to other people. Who I thought didn't deserve it, but then they acted like it was all on me because I said that at the time, even though right when I got unbanned, he immediately started with the duster jokes and got that started going again. And I'm trying to move away from the duster jokes because before I would use the duster jokes to distract from the consequences of doing duster, but now that I don't do it, it's really starting to aggravate my cravings a lot. So I generally try to, and since he started up the duster jokes, and on top of that, this moderator, ZZ, has still been sweeping for him the whole time, which is annoying too, because he was the one who messaged me that I was unbanned, and that also makes me think it does seem very premeditated that they came here just to mess with me, basically, and harass me, because he was already sweeping for Neo the second I got back. And at one point I'd been shown a screenshot of Neo talking shit again, so I've been mostly trying to stay away from the JSTLKs, but sometimes I'll go in and it'll be chill and I'll say like, hey, please stop with the duster. I'm trying to move on from that, basically. And oftentimes people are pretty good about it, but at the same time, the fact that it keeps getting brought up keeps aggravating my cravings, and Neo keeps bringing it up. So I did go at him sometimes too, because I didn't at first, but then when he started immediately with the duster jokes and stuff, I did. And then when I got alerted to the fact that he was talking about me, I noticed I didn't have perms, and I hadn't been on in hours, and I don't remember losing perms before when I was on last time, so I thought basically that I didn't have perms for indefinitely for like hours on end. So I went to talk to the moderator ZZ, and then he was talking about how I needed to pay to get perms at all times, and I had said that I wasn't going to pay. Basically, I said and I told him to F off because I wasn't going to pay, that I just got on banned. And then he became very disrespectful, and he's like, oh, well, don't complain then. And eventually I did use very harsh language to him, like calling him worthless scum and stuff, because I felt very disrespected. But at that point, he had became even worse to me at that point. Like, if he had just explained it to me like it was a general rule and it was just temporary, I would have been more or less fine with it. But then too, he became worse too with the duster narratives, and we even had it chill. Like, I was even chatting at one point, and we had a fine conversation afterwards. Like, we didn't interact much because, like I said, I'm not trying to be there a ton anyway. But then he started up again with the talking about how it's one-sided with me and Neo, and then he's also started making the duster jokes and stuff too. So I was complaining about him in Kelly Jean's server when he started pinging me, and I didn't want to go into Gisticles. Like, he was being like really aggressive and telling me to go into Gisticles instead of that server, even though he could have commented on Kelly Jean's server. He was telling me to go into there. So I said no, that if he wanted to talk to me, he could go into Kelly Jean's server, because, like I said, when people were with the duster jokes was increasing my cravings. So that's why I was trying to be in that server. I thought it would be a more productive conversation. I thought it'd be a significant chance that the duster jokes wouldn't come up there like they would over in Gisticles, over at Kelly Jean's. So he wouldn't stop. He kept responding to me there, so I told him that if he wouldn't, I would block him. And then other people were pinging me, and I said, please stop pinging me here. I don't want to be here right now. And at that point, someone had commented to me, and then I had blocked that person. And yeah, it was like I had both of them blocked, so it wasn't too much of an issue. And then later on, someone was antagonizing me, but the person who I had blocked was encouraging them. I didn't even realize that person was also a mod. The person Cyclone was continuing to ping me at the same time, unbeknownst to me. And so he encouraged, there was Ryle who was antagonizing me, and then we kind of got into a back and forth, and I didn't like, and it was about the duster, which Cyclone had also made fun of me before, ZZ had. But I mean, I was like, okay, I was like trying not to make too big of a thing of it, like, because I just figured that would just kind of egg Ryle on more, but I was kind of giving it back a little bit. And then he said to me behind, like, I had him blocked, and he said to Ryle, are you done playing with Kayla? I'm like, I'm gonna block her, basically. And then I just got a time out, and it said for mental health break for like 24 hours. And then I guess, so then Ryle was complaining to him, and he told Ryle to DM him, or DM me. But then he was acting like it was for my mental health, but he basically told Ryle to continue to antagonize me, but then Ryle was talking about how unfair it was, how it was both two-sided. And he ended up getting timed out for even longer than me, but initially it was weird because he was kind of framing it as initially something Ryle did that he wanted to give me a break for, even though he's done similar stuff. And then he said it was vibes, I was ruining the vibes of the chat, like all kinds of different things. But basically, how I figured out that he had continued to ping me was the fact that I unblocked him when I figured out it was him who had timed me out. And that's how I figured out that I had been pinged a bunch of times. And it's just the fact that, like, and I was talking about it too, that I was being harassed in the timeout, I think, was in retaliation, because I think he knew that, like, I would definitely go and investigate if I was timed out to know it was him. So just the fact that he's going out of his way to get my attention, to harass me, when I'm not even trying to be mostly in that server. I'm mostly trying to be in other servers and like interact with a little bit and see if maybe it shifts away from the Duster talk. And then Jistical was acting like it was all about the timeout, which it wasn't, and sweeping for them. And then I ended up still not being very active, but I saw the person Neo who kept talking about how I'm obsessed with Wolfgang, and that's the problem. He just keeps making up unhinged stuff that isn't true. So I posted screenshots of the times he's mentioned me supposedly being obsessed with Wolfgang and the times I mentioned it, and it shows that I mentioned him once to be like, oh, I haven't bothered Wolfgang since I've been back, because he's not been trolling me since I've been back, basically. And then you saw, like, the other times I mentioned him were from, like, months ago, from prior to my ban. And then that's what got me banned, which, okay, the reason why this is a problem is because, one, they already had this harassment campaign, and now, when I'm trying to get evidence for it, they go and ban me. And I also heard they're deleting evidence as well. So this is why this is a huge problem, this harassment campaign. And these are the kinds of people that definitely need to be exposed. And yeah, that's my main reason for making this video. Okay, thanks for watching.